Welcome to 2026 on the 1st of January for my prophetic word for the year ahead. So what is it?
Gabriel's Gospel Grace, changing lives and kingdom building one stone at a time.
My word for the year is elevation. Yes, elevation. That's right. It's about getting up from where we are and being elevated. Now, you could also think of the city set on a hill, the light being shone from a lighthouse. It's always from a higher place. And that's what we need to do. We need to get to higher ground. Okay? We get a greater vantage point from there also. And as they say in Star Wars, if you have the high ground, you can't be defeated. So let's think about that. Being elevated, being taken up to a higher place. It really is about separating from the old and moving towards the new. Now, last year was all about the parting of waters. You can always check out last year's prophetic word. But it really was about separation. And of course, once we come out of that stagnation, we're now moving into the promised land. But what does that mean? It's all new opportunities, new things, new people, new places. We don't know. So the best thing to do at that point is be elevated. Now, the Holy Spirit's saying we're being elevated for a reason, and that's a purpose, and that's God's calling. Now, whatever that calling is, it can be really small or it could be huge. But are you stepping up? Are you truly stepping up into what God's calling you to do? Because that's the one thing I've learned in the last few weeks. Sometimes we think we've stepped forward, but actually God just raised the bar. He said there's more, but we're still trapped in the old mindset. We have to break from there. And that's what I want to talk about in a moment. How do we break from there? But you have to be willing. That's the point. Over Christmas, someone gave me a word about the door being open and we have to walk through it. And that's true, but sometimes walking through an open door can be fearful. And that's the other problem. We give in to our fears. So let's talk about how we overcome this. Now, we all know that Jesus taught about walking on the water. We know the story well. And obviously everyone leans on the thing about stepping out the boat with faith. And that's true. But I want to look at it from a different perspective. This is my perspective. What about the boat? What is the boat? Well, you see, if you're not prepared to step out the boat onto the water, we say you don't have faith. But actually, you're putting your faith in the boat. You think you're safe. But remember, that boat is on the water. It's subjected to all the same things you are, whether you're in the boat or out of the boat, apart from you'll sink, or at least you believe you'll sink. That's your unbelief. Your unbelief overcoming your faith. But coming back to the boat, it's a false sense of security. Think about the fact that Paul got shipwrecked. He was in a boat, wasn't safe. And the best example is Titanic. That didn't work out so well, did it? So come on, let's think about this. The boat, what does it represent to you? Well, you can think of it as your ego. You see, when I say it's your ego, it's the thing that keeps you trapped. It's a false sense of security. In most of our lives, the false self, which is the ego, it tells us who we are. It tells us how we should move forward in life, and it keeps us safe. It keeps us protected because it limits us. So here's how I want you to look at the boat and your ego. It is your cage. Yes, it's your cage. Now remember, Christ came that we may be set free of that cage. That's the key to this. You see, your boat is false. It's a false cage. So when we know that, when we realise if you magically take the boat away, you're just on the water anyway. So either sink or swim, or dance on the waves. Have that faith that you can walk on top of anything that comes against you. And I should also point out, spiritually, it's often recognised that the sea and water represents emotions. And when we look at the storm, when we think of storms, the wind itself represents thoughts. So when it says, "What manner of man is this, that the wind and the sea obey him?" That's who we are. We let Christ in us command our thoughts and override our emotions, because they're lies, they're deceptions. It's a false sense of security because it's the false self. So knowing that, we can elevate. Everything looks too big, especially when we need to climb something. Think about as a toddler going to climb on that wall. Actually, your parents are the ones who say, "Oh no, get down." Remember the old saying, "If you fall and break your legs, don't come running to me." Well, same thing. Sometimes it is safe to not do things because it holds us back from preventing harm to ourselves. But other times, especially as adults, we're afraid, we're frightened. We're frightened of the unknown, and we're certainly frightened of going into new territory. It's a bit like even if you are on a boat, it's okay being on a little pond, but if all of a sudden now you're in the sea with waves, it's a challenge. But remember, you can't be a sailor unless you learn to overcome these small obstacles. So, elevation, that's what it's all about this year. Now, the other thing about elevation is it's about literally being in higher places. Now, I kind of want to come back to part of the parable of the sower. Do you remember when the seed fell on the weedy ground? It grows among the weeds. It chokes the life out of you. So think of it this way. Every seed has the potential for growth. It has the power within it to be more than itself. It starts off small, and it don't just grow into something mighty, but it also then multiplies. It has more seed, the fruit. But we also have to bear in mind that the ground itself is where all the provision is, all the abundance that is meant for us. Now that can be seen as our personal abundance, the light within, the selflessness, the servant's heart. So my challenge to you is, how many of you are giving of yourselves all the time to people around you? Now, I know as Christians, the assumption is we should be giving all the time. Well, I'm going to say no, we shouldn't. Jesus only did as the Father told him. He didn't go around giving to everyone all the time. He didn't go around healing everyone all the time. He did as the Father said, or those who came to him in faith, which, to be honest, even then, they'd have had a word within them that said, go to Jesus. So that's what I'm saying. For the many years now, we're often giving our energy away, we're giving our provision away, and we're certainly giving ourselves away, especially when it comes to time. But that's not what this year's about. This year, if you want to be a champion, go and spend time with champions. If you want to be a lawyer, go and spend time with people who work in law. If you want to be a singer, go join a choir. You can't just sing around in your literally at the back of a bus with your friends. It's not the same. So now is a time. It's not about separation, it's about elevation. So now think of you being that beautiful sunflower planted among the thorny thistles and weeds. You're never going to grow. You're in their shadow. And every time you try and burst out the ground and you try and push yourself out there, someone's pulling you back because you keep giving in. So now it's time to step out of that mindset. You now need to move into a new position. Go and do new things. Go and meet new people. It's time to literally elevate yourself out the ground and then go and plant yourself in a new field. You can be the treasure hidden in that field. That's part of the key of elevation. You're going to take yourself out of where you are and elevate to something new. Now, the other thing about elevation is you need to not just climb up, but you need people to either pull you up or push you up. So again, that's why we need people that are ahead of us, leaders we can look up to and respect, especially spiritually. You know, I put a post at Christmas about who is your shepherd. Do you have a shepherd? Or do you just wander around like a sheep listening to other sheep? Same thing applies. Time to find people to lead you. Time to get you to expand beyond what you consider normal, and more so out of the mindset of the world and into the mindset of the kingdom. Because only there's where you're going to find your freedom, your faith, your power and your abundance. It's all in the kingdom, not in the world. So we need to have people that are going to raise us up, hold us up, push us up, because we're all going to stumble. Even Jesus stumbled with a cross and someone lifted him up. Someone helped pick him up. We need that. So let's surround ourselves with people that will pick us up. They will build us up. When we stumble, they will literally lift us. But remember, if that's who we are, then we also need to be the person who pulls them up behind us. Now, let's not confuse that with simply, helping everyone around us. No, that's not what I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with helping people. Even now, homeless and poor people, people with mental health, people going through things. That's not what I'm saying. Of course you can help them. But when you recognise they're just taking, they're not doing the work. They don't seem to want to elevate themselves. In fact, they want to stay on the floor and they want to become dependent on you providing all the time. Kind of the mentality we get off the state these days. But that makes you a slave. So we're not promoting slavery. We're setting people free. We're going to raise them up. But as I said, to do that, we need to be champions in our own lives. We need to be kings, queens. We need to be out there as leaders, changing lives because we elevate ourselves in the process. Now, for me this year, elevation's a key word. I feel this is part of the word that's been given to me. you will see elevation on this channel and beyond. So even now, there's opportunities coming. You might even be watching this and you've got an opportunity. So feel free to reach out, because at this point, I'm open to anything. 2026 is going to be a year of opportunity, and it's certainly about pushing ourselves beyond our boundaries. If we fear something, you know what? That's when we should dig in and we find courage. It's not absence of fear, it's overcoming fear. Now, recently I taught live that the real key to fear is hope. Any fear we have, we can place a hope over the top of it, but then we put our faith in the hope, which will override that condition. I may teach on that again in another video shortly. So remember, this year, elevate. You're going to elevate yourself, you're going to have people around you that elevate you, and you're going to elevate others, because only then are we getting to that high ground where we can get that total view of everything around. We're going to get that heavenly view of what's going on in our lives and other lives. So this year, be elevated. Get outside that boat, destroy the boat, stop seeing the boat, walk on the water, take command of your thoughts, and certainly get on top of them emotions, because this year we're dancing on the waves. Happy New Year, God bless, and I'll see you on the other side of this video. If you were blessed by this video, why not give it a like? Also subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon to be notified of future videos.